What's good, everybody? It's your boy Santo G, man. Back at it with another chapter, man. So, today I wanted to talk about just as far as all the homies that I came across and that I met in the compound, man. 90% of them ended up getting life. And I wanted to talk about as far as juveniles going to court and the time that we were facing. So, I was 16 when I caught my case. It was an attempted murder case, and they were trying to give me 25 to life. I never set foot in a juvenile court, not once. As I talked about, I got busted, and I was in East Lake, and within 3, 4 days of being there, they sent me to adult court, and from adult court straight to the compound. So I want to say like a year in is when I got my first deal. They tried to shoot me 39 years. And to me, that was, that was just funny, Um, 17 years old at the time, but committed the offense when I was 16, no prior offenses. And that's all they could come up with. So pretty much once we started getting ready to go to trial, they I was in Superior Court and I went to Supreme or the other way around. I don't remember how it works, but I know it's Superior then Supreme or Supreme then Superior. And when I got bound to the next one, and we're pretty much getting ready for all the motions and everything, I remember my lawyer. He came to see me, and he was kind of happy. He had came to see me to Silmar, so I get shackled up. Anyone that knows when you're in the compound and you get like a lawyer visit or you go to medical or anything like that, you get shackled up to your feet. Like you have handcuffs on your feet and then you have handcuffs on your hands, which are also you got a rope around your waist and pretty much your handcuffs are to your waist. Pretty much like if we would be going to court, but except we got shackles on our feet too. And I guess that was just to prevent anything because at all times they had people from A to M and O or whatever the fuck. They had a lot of people going to court or just out there. So we were high risk offenders, pretty much all of us fighting life. So that's the way they treated us right there in the compound. They pretty much, it looked like if it was a little mini prison inside of the juvenile hall. You know what I'm saying? But so I went to go see him, and he told me, he's like, look, this lady's trying to give you 4 years. And I was like, what? Hell yeah, that's love. You know what I mean? He's like, look, it hasn't went through yet, but I went to lunch, and she's talking about you don't have no priors, whoop de whoop whoop. So I had a paid lawyer, by the graces of God. My mom and the family looked out, and they were able to put some money together, man, to get me a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? And big ups to everyone, cause like I said, I know at the time we weren't doing so good. So for them to be able to come up with the feria to do that and you know what I mean, back me like that, I'm forever gonna be indebted. You know what I'm saying, to the family. So pretty much, um, we went to court, and I remember this day too because I went to court with my homeboy Chino and with my homeboy Milo, and my homeboy Chino actually ended up getting married that day. So we go to court, and I see my lawyer, and he pretty much comes and he tells me, he's like, hey, I got good news and I got bad news. I'm like, all right, like fuck it. What was the bad news, He's like, the bad news is that they didn't go for the four. I'm like, all right, it was like a gut punch, but I was still, So he's like, and the good news is though that I was able to get him to 10. And to be honest, as soon as he told me that, I just told him, man, where the papers at? You know what I'm saying? He had the papers right then and there. He's like, look, you gotta sign it right now. They offering you 10 years. I took 2 years for the assault with a deadly weapon, I took 3 years for discharge of a firearm and 5 years for gang enhancement. So it added up to 10. So that's what I ended up getting by the graces of God. Even though it's 10, I know a lot of you guys are like, damn, that's a lot of time. But to me, like I said, just seeing all the people around me going to court and getting washed up, it was just crazy, you know? My first celly was, and I'm always gonna remember this, my first celly when I was in juvenile hall was the homie Little Man from West Side Longo. You know what I mean? Shout out on my Playa Larga, you know what I mean? All my boys from Long Beach. So my first celly was the homie Little Man from West Side Longo. He was 13, 13, and he ended up getting, if I'm not mistaken, like 50 to life or probably even more. My homeboy Little Triste, who I said I ended up being there with, he ended up getting 50 to life. My homeboy from Latin Times Pacoima, who I said ended up taking off on Ugly for me, he ended up getting 50 to life. And you don't know how many other people, the list can go on and on and on. You know what I'm saying? The homie Dumbo that I said I ended up getting down with because he ended up doing some shit, he ended up getting 50 to life, man. Um, the homie Violent from AP, he ended up, by the graces of God, he had a lawyer too, man, and he ended up getting 8 years. And my Sally Shaggy from AK Locals, the one that I said motivated me to get my GED, he ended up signing a deal, man, for 24 years. You know? And like I said, the list can go on and on and on. How many homies I've ran into, good, righteous homies, you know what I mean? Who were young at the time and just got caught up in some shit, man, but got life sentences or double digits, and I mean like 20 and up, you know? And then I remember I ran into the homie Shaggy too. I ran into him when I was in Chino. So I ended up signing for the 10 years and I ended up getting sent to the county. And in the county, I was there for like 2, 3 months. I ended up getting there in January of 2010. And keep in mind, I'm coming from the halls, you know what I mean? Where it's like you getting down every day and everything. And then I pretty much go to the county and I'm still, turned up a little bit, still kind of have that set trip in mind, but like I said, I ended up with the homie Chino, my first dorm. I went to on 818 in Supermax. I ended up with the homie that I told you guys I ended up going to court with the day that I signed. Oh, as a matter of fact, I didn't even finish. Okay, so right after I signed, I ended up going back to the holding cell and I hear my homeboys in the vent and the homie's like, "Hey, what's up?" Woo?" And I tell him like, "Hey, my boy, I just ended up signing for 10." And he's like, "Oh, fuck." He's like, "Congratulations, my boy." Woo, woo, woo. I know you guys probably like, "Congratulations for signing for 10, but they didn't take my life away, 25 to life, 10 was a blessing. So he's like, "Congratulations." And I'm telling him, like, "Congratulations too, you just got married. Congratulations." Like, so we just right there. But fast forward a couple months later, I ended up in the county with him. And he pretty much knew everybody there. He had been there for a minute. So it was pretty much I was just watching him and just picking up game from him. And like I said, he had it in good with the homies right there. So that's where I learned that phone list when I broke down as far as how the phone list works because through him is how I was able to get assigned that position because I had just came from the hall. So I was a phone master. I was on the phone all day. So they were like, who better than the homie that's always on the phone to make the phone list? Just a little backstory, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just had to touch on that as far as it's a trip how this juvenile stuff, a lot of people look at Gascon and they feel like he's being lenient with juvenile offenders and stuff like that. And certain cases I understand because it's people that reoffend and reoffend that mess it up for everybody else, but there is a few good apples, you know what I'm saying, that just fall victims to circumstances or get caught up in certain situations and they get their whole life taken away from them. So to me, the way I think about it is, man, big ups to Gascon changing all them laws because I think if the same laws that are in place now, if they would have been implemented back then, I don't think that a lot of the homies that I was with would have got the time that they got. You know what I'm saying? How many people in there committed crimes when they were young, probably just with the wrong people and stuff like that, but they can be rehabilitated. You know what I'm saying? They do deserve a second chance. And I'm just lucky that I got that second chance. So, like I said, I'm right here telling my story. And I just wanted to let you guys know, man, there's a lot, a handful, more than a handful. I can only say probably on one hand, I could count the people that didn't get double digits or washed up. You know, everybody else got washed up. That's why I gotta say, the compound and just being right there in juvenile hall was crazy because you have people stressed out, going to court, getting their life took, and you come back and you're interacting with these people. So I mean, 9 times out of 10, shit's gonna clash and stuff's gonna happen. But I gotta say, for the level of time that all the homies and just other races too, you know, because I've been with, like I said, I've been with a gang of brothers, a gang of whites, Asians, and just got washed up, you know, they just got washed up. But I gotta say, they held themselves pretty good, you know. Other people would have just wowed it the hell out, but I seen people go get washed up and then come back and still be humble, you know, still have their head up, still be humble, you know what I'm saying? And it's just a trip how all these minors is just going through all that, you know? Um, I don't know if you guys have seen there's a video that they made. It's called They Call Us Monsters. I think it's on Netflix. It's called They Call Us Monsters. It's pretty much couple of homies. There's a Gabacho, there's a couple of Raza, and I think there's even a Moreno, and they're right there in Silmar in the compound, and they talk about all that. And just watching it, I was watching it the other day, man, and I was like, damn, you know, I'm glad someone finally made a video about it and they touched on it. But I just feel like if we can make something like me, my main goal is to start a production company. So if I could write a book on the stuff that I've been through, that I've seen, and just the lives that got destroyed in the system and throughout the years, how many homies I've seen get washed up or stuff like that, man. I think it would go. You know what I mean? I think it would go, and the vision will actually be from a real person that actually went through it. You know, so trying to see and get that going. You know, I'm also looking for as um little acting ventures and stuff like that. You know, so keep a lookout for that, man. And yeah, man. This next chapter, I just wanted to touch on that, man. How many lives got washed up, man? How many homies got washed up? And the next one, I'm gonna just go as far as touch more on the county and how that was, and then prison and all that. But before I moved on to that, I just wanted to commemorate all the homies that got washed up and didn't get a second chance. So I'm here trying to do something positive with my story, and you know what I mean? I got a second chance. And like I said, I'm trying to touch someone. So prevent them from doing that or whatever, you know? Just trying to bring awareness. Like I said, if you guys haven't checked out that show, it's called They Call Us Monsters. I think it's on Netflix. They Call Us Monsters. It talks about a couple of handful of inmates in the compound, juveniles getting tried as adults, and how most of them get washed up, and I think only like one or two of them ends up getting out. You know what I mean? Boy Santo G. unity, prosperity, respect, man. Let's get it.